F it. Why not? I'm going to show you the exact strategy I used to get a $15,000 payout from Top Step in the month of September. Well, I guess 14,989, but this model has consistently given me over 5 figures a month for over a year now. It's given me over 6 figures in payouts, trading the exact same thing every single day. And I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to keep it raw, how I like it, and just explain everything from top to bottom. Nothing fancy, just pure value when it comes to trading my AMN model. The basis of this model is really that a lot of people don't understand market structure, so we're going to use that against them. So probably said it 1,000 times, but this is how a lot of people view market structure. But this isn't how market structure is. Got something in my eyes. It's the market makers trying to stop me from sharing this. But this isn't how structure works, unfortunately. Okay, by looking for buys and sells based on this, a lot of the time, for example, you're going to have your protected low here. You're going to look for a market structure shift here. This is going to be your guide. And this is going to happen because this is real market structure. This is how the market actually works. It moves like this. And while you're looking for these lows here, they're stopping you out, then we're continuing higher. They're stopping you out, and then they're continuing higher. So we need to trade this. We need to see how to spot this. Now, the next question would be, yo, Adil, how do I find this liquidity? How do I find this liquidity? How do I defer it from a real protected low? Real protected low, real protected low, liquidity, liquidity. Well, the first step before we do that is we need to talk about zones. So every time we break structure, okay, you just draw a zone. Guess what? We break structure again. What I'm going to do is draw what? A new zone. So those are going to be the two bases of your structure, okay, and how you're going to find liquidity. So now once you have your zone like this, so let me redraw it, make it simpler, like this. You want to see, how can I find liquidity? Well, liquidity is always the first tap in your zone that pushes price higher. So now I have a tap in this zone that pushed price higher. So this tap, it induces a lot of buyers. Okay, a lot of buyers are going to enter here and they're going to think, yay, we've made money in the way out. But what it is just creating liquidity for us to stop them out. And then we're going to get the real move. Now, this tap can be big like this. We can expand a lot, tap and then push higher. Or it can be very small, right? Sometimes you see price just comes out, just comes back in, and then pushes higher. So then we put our tap here. Now, there are small nuances. For example, how do we know this is a tap? Or how do I know this is a new break of structure? And a new zone to draw. And I'll focus on this one. Well, you want to see how far the zone mitigated. You want the tap to be a shallow tap. A tap here, this would not count as my tap. Why? Because I can see price mitigated this and then pushed higher. This, however, is a shallow tap. This is liquidity. I am expecting price to sweep this and then push higher. Whereas this one here, if we took this low, I would no longer look for buys and I would only be looking for sells on the way down. And the same thing, now we draw bearish zones from here to here, right? And we shift that bearish zone from here to here, and then from here to here. So I'm going to do an uptrend example for today, but everything when we're trading an uptrend to a downtrend is the exact same. You're just going to flip it in reverse. So now you've established a trend. Now you've established liquidity. We need to look at entry. So our zone is going to look something like this. Okay, there is the break of structure. You want to go on the chart. Are we pushing higher? Are we pushing lower? I can see here we're in a clear uptrend. So let me find a break of structure in that. Where if we break this low, we are now into a downtrend. I know if we break this low, we are now into a downtrend. So I'm going to look for a long between this low and this high. Now, where between here and here can I find it? Am I going to use premium and discount? No, not going to use none of that. I'm going to look at the last zone. The last zone is where we last broke structure, which was here. Okay, I'm looking for a long in here. Now, before that, okay, let me just alter this to make it clearer. Right now, before that, do we have liquidity in our zone that pushed price higher? Yes, I can see we tapped into this zone and then we pushed price higher. So now we have a zone, we have an uptrend, we have liquidity. Now, for an additional very good setups, you want a point of interest underneath this liquidity. That could be a fair value gap, or that could be even nicer. Can you see we have this area of demand? Up to down moves are area of demand, down to up moves are areas of supply. So we have a fresh zone. Can you see how this tap did not mitigate this zone? It left it nice and free. So we have a fresh zone the price can now tap into, right? Sweep this, come into this fresh zone, and then we're going to look for an entry in this area of demand, stop loss below, target a higher high. However, don't just blindly enter, because then yes, you're still going to win trades. Yes, you may still be profitable, but if you can get your win rate a lot higher, why not? So in here is when you want to drop down to the lower time frame and you want to see some sort of confirmation that price is going to push higher. That could be inversing fair value gaps. That could be my favorite, which is a market structure shift. So for example, on the lower time frame, the favorite pattern I like to see is this. Can you see? What did we do on this lower time frame indicated by this orange line? We made low, high, low, high, lower, low, higher, high. So we actually shifted structure, and then we can put our SL below there, targeting this to be the higher low that is expecting this to be the higher low that is going to deliver us the higher high. We'll get into that in the trade example as well, but it could be inversion for value gaps. It can be a market structure shifts. It can be breaking areas of supply, respecting areas of demand. Any of them are valid. The thing is, when trading, right, it's contextual, okay, in the sense of not two situations are the same. Sometimes you're going to get beautiful structure where I can look for a market structure shift. Sometimes we're just going to get a straight leg down and there's going to be no protected highs to break. So I have to use like a fair value gap. Sometimes it just stepping, small zones, no structure, no fair value gap. Have to look at areas of supply, areas of demand, and use that to base my entry from. But you need, please get some sort of confirmation that we do want to bounce from here and we're not just going to dump and change trend. So let's jump straight into the charts and go over a nice trade. So the first thing people are going to ask me is what time frame? What time frame? What time frame? Any two time frames, please, right? Any 2 to 3 time frames are fine. So for me personally, I like to use like the 15-minute to gauge my main bias. Now, if I'm looking at the trend on the 15-minute, I can see we did high, low, high, low, high. Simple stuff. So I know as long as we respect this low, we are in an uptrend. Okay, and we should make a higher high. Now, what have we done? Well, where's my last breaker structure? My last breaker structure was here. Okay. And we had a zone from here to here. Now, when I look at my areas of demand within this zone, I can see we did low, high, low, higher, high. So this was the last bearish move before we accelerated. This is what we call an origin. This is a great area of supply, of demand. Now, you can also sweep liquidity in this demand zones instead of the overall zone. So in this here, it's the same thing. I can see just where we first left the zone, tapped back in and pushed higher. Okay, it can be small. Like I said, we swept that liquidity. We came to 50%, and then we're getting an expansion leg higher. So overall, in a 15-minute uptrend, as long as we remain above this low, okay, we are now reacting from this area of demand in the previous zone that's pushing price higher. So what am I expecting? I'm expecting price to break this high, right? This external high. This is my external low. Now, internally, if I'm expecting this to be the higher low, that is going to give me the higher high, because I'm expecting that. I can start looking at longs, okay, above this low, pretty much below this high because I want to catch a buy, I want to catch a retracement to take me to the next leg higher, to take me towards this high. Let me drop down to now the 3 minute and I can find a zone based on that. Well, what can I see on the 3 minute structure? Well, we had a low, high, low, high, low, higher, high. So we shifted. You can see the 15 minute was pulling back and now we shifted back higher, telling me the pullback is over and we're going to continue. And this is where we shifted structure. This is my break of structure to the upside on this lower time frame. And this here is my what? Is my protected low on the 3 minute. So same thing, right? I'm expecting this low to hold to be the higher low. That's going to give me the higher high. And I can see now I have a zone. Now I want to catch a trade in here up there. What do I need first? I need that liquidity. Let's see if we get it. Of course we get it because this is a replay mode. I've chosen this example because it's a good example, but this was yesterday. Today's Wednesday. As I can see there, Wednesday, the 1st of October. And this was the thing. This happens every day, I promise you. So can you see, we don't get FOMO. We put a shallow tap into here and then we pushed higher. This is where we induce a lot of buyers. Okay, we stop them out here. They're going to provide us the liquidity to push lower. No, does 100% of the time we come sweep and we rip? No, sometimes we do just accelerate up. But this is my setup. If I don't see my setup, I don't take a trade. So price breaking this liquidity is going to be my setup. Now, what did I say for extra higher confidence? Those remembered, we want an area of demand underneath this liquidity to be super nice. Can you see? We have this beautiful up to down that we have underneath this liquidity that is above our internally protected low. So this is a great zone to take along from. So let's see, this is where we have our bullish bias, we have our zone, we have our liquidity sweep, we have our area of demand. There is the sweep. Now, am I randomly just going to click buy? You could, but no, don't. Right? A lot of people would just now randomly click like this, this, which is valid, but it's not what we want to do, okay? We want to go down to the lower time frame and look at some sort of structure that is forming after we have swept this liquidity here. So let me go down to, for example, the 1 minute. I like to use the 30 seconds, but let's just use the 1 minute for this example. And I can see we're pushing lower. Okay, did we have a protected high? But on the 1 minute, we have low, high, 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 lower, low. So my protected high is still all the way up here. I can't wait for this to break and then enter a trade because then I've missed the whole move, right? This should be my final target, the higher high being made. So I need to start using context. So let's just play price out and see if we get something. Okay, well, right now I can see we formed this very small area of supply here. Right, this little move up before we got expansion down. We've got some fair value gaps there. So let's see how price reacts in there. Okay, I can see price is respecting this bearish fair value gap and respecting this area of supply. So we're in my high. I'm expecting a bounce here. And I know that this is currently holding down price. So let's see if we break this. Let's hold down price twice. And now we've broken it. So we're in a higher time frame uptrend. We're in a higher time frame demand zone. We're in a higher time frame area we need to bounce. And we can see we had this lower time frame supply zone holding price down once, twice, 3 times. The fact that we broke it in our higher time frame POI now, that gives me the confirmation. That's my confidence. Like I said, every situation isn't going to be the same. But in this situation, I can use that as my confidence, as my confirmation. So entry there. Right, be more realistic. Entry there on a break. Stop loss below this low, because again, now I'm expecting this to be the low. That's going to push price higher. If we go back to the 3 minutes, right, I'm expecting this to be the low of this zone. That's going to give me a higher high. So I like to take majority of my profit at this high, and then we can target the 15-minute high. So literally, everything we're doing on the 15-minute, we've just broken down, and then again on the 3 minute. So I'm expecting my structure to look like high, low, high, low, high, high. So this is where I'm going to take the majority of my profit, and then I'll target the 15-minute high up here, right up here, as my final take profit. Now, if I draw this structure, right, I'm not including this as my high, low, high, boom, because then you see we get that pattern we talked about right at the start. The real structure is just high, low, Hi, we know that this is just liquidity, and we're not going to include it as our real structure. Our real protected low is down here. Anyways, enough of that. Before I play this trade out, actually, so I do have a premium Discord where I live stream my trading every single day, so you can get full access to my course, right? So you can learn this strategy in a bit more detail, because it's hard to explain everything here. I do need to go over slightly more like SNDRs, mitigation of zones, which zones are good, which zones are bad, how to properly identify the trends so we know we are doing. But this is the best, like, kind of quickish breakdown I can do. It's very, very valuable. This is the basis of everything. So if you want full access to the course and you want to watch me live stream my trading every single day, and you want daily trade recaps and daily market breakdowns exactly like this to really reinforce that learning, you can hop on the live streams, ask me questions, see the exact trades I'm taking, and even better, it comes with a 7-day free trial. So if you don't like it, you can cancel it and not get charged a penny, because I really believe in the value I provide. So access to that, you can access that through the link in the description. And I'm also, so I do mentorships now, like one-on-one, where I just one-on-one, instead of being that group option, it's a one-on-one mentorship, and I'm doing a free, that's right, free giveaway to the mentorships. Normally charge quite a lot for those, I'm not gonna lie. So if you want a chance of getting a free mentorship, then I'll put the link for that in the description as well. That is expiring next week. So the 8th of October, the free giveaway is ending. I can't give away free for life, unfortunately. So this will sort of be the only video that mentions that. So if you do want to access that, please, the link is in the description. Anyways, let's now play this out. And as you can see, we smash both, take profits. Now, normally sometimes we'll see what we do here. Sometimes we come just below the 15-minute high and we start to move lower. That's why we always take profit just before, but you can see anyways, it got respected. We smashed this final TP, but most importantly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scaling 90, if not all of it, at this high here anyways. This is my 3-minute zone, my 3-minute high there. So yeah, thank you for watching, my friends. I hope this video helped. It should do. Any questions, please drop them in the comment section below. Like I said, if you want to join the mentorship and the premium Discord, the link is in the description for that as well. Apart from that, I appreciate your time. As always, appreciate any likes, any subscribes, and I will catch you in the next video.